On this week's episode of the Rambler Sports Locker, men's soccer starts to pick up the pace, and Rambler host Connor Bergen and his Ramble analysis discuss Josh Gordon's new role with the New England Patriots.
Also, women's volleyball competed in the Chicago Cup, and RSL reporter Patty Martinez tells us what's trending this week. Welcome back to this week's episode of the Rambler Sports Locker. I'm Ioana Kikados.
And I'm Megan Dela Cruz. This past Saturday, September 15th, the Loyola men's soccer team traveled to Edwardsville, Illinois to play the SIUE Cougars. Loyola got off to a quick start, starting 2 early goals in the first 6 minutes by senior Fabian Lifka and junior Ada Magali against SIUE. Those 2 goals would prove to be enough as the Ramblers went on to defeat the Cougars 2-0. Senior Josh Laguda's shutout goal keeping earned him the MVC Defensive Player of the Week award on Tuesday, September 18th. Against the DePaul Demons on September 18th, redshirt junior Grant Stoneman grabbed the win for his team, scoring the sole goal of the game in overtime off of a corner kick from Lifka. The 2 wins bring the Ramblers' record to 3-3 on the season. Loyola will next face the Drake Bulldogs tomorrow night, Saturday, September 22nd at 7 o'clock.
Loyola women's soccer team competed this week, Sunday, September 16th. Freshman Abby Swanson scored her 2nd goal in as many games to help Loyola women's soccer earn a 1-1 draw in double overtime against Florida Gulf Coast. The Ramblers came out as the aggressors when junior Sienna Cruz forced an early stop from Florida Gulf Coast goalkeeper Melissa Weck, right before fellow junior Madison Laudman hit the post on a free kick minutes after. The Ramblers continued to pepper the Eagles' net in the second half. Loyola finally broke through in the 61st minute off a Laudman corner kick, as Swanson headed home to give Loyola a 1-0 edge. However, Florida Gulf Coast was able to tie the score and force overtime. Neither team was able to reach the net, and after 2 overtimes, the game ended in a tie. The women's soccer team is made up of a lot of impressive players. RSL reporter Michael Faso breaks some of them down in this week's Top 5.
This week on Top 5, I'll be counting down the top 5 women's soccer players at Loyola through their first 9 games this season. Coming in at number 5 is junior Sienna Cruz. A returning Missouri Valley Conference all-first team midfielder, Cruz has played well this season, racking in 2 goals for a point total of 4. Both of Cruz's goals came in the season-opening 4-2 win against University of Massachusetts Lowell. Coming in at number 4 is senior Madison Kimball. The California native is a defensive midfielder for Loyola and has scored 2 goals in the last 9 games, bringing her total points earned also to 4. Next, we have junior Aleska Tatarin, who has earned the number 3 spot on my top 5 list this week. Tatarin splits her time as a midfielder and forward. She has dished out 2 assists this season, along with 1 goal in the team's 4-0 win over Purdue Fort Wayne to bring her total points to 4 as well. At number 2, we have our youngest player on the list, and that is freshman Abby Swanson. Swanson is a midfielder for the women's soccer team and has 4 goals and 1 assist in 9 games played, bringing her total points earned to 9. The Illinois native is definitely one to watch, especially with all the success she's had in just her first year as a Rambler. Topping my list this week at number 1 is Jenna Chesney. With 3 goals and 3 assists, the forward is definitely not letting up in her senior year. She tops our list and is tied with Swanson for a team best 9 points earned overall. Now, the soccer season is still young, so don't forget to keep updated on the team as they move forward. The Ramblers wrapped up their main conference at 3-5-1, and they will open their 7-game Missouri Valley Conference slate next Sunday, September 23rd at 1 p.m. when they travel to Waterloo, Iowa to take on Northern Iowa. That's all for this week's Top 5. I'm Michael Faso. Back to you, Megan.
Thanks, Michael. This past weekend, the Loyola women's volleyball team hosted the Chicago Cup at Gentile Arena. Competing against the Ramblers were the DePaul Demons, the UIC Flames, and the Northwestern Wildcats. Friday night, September 14th against DePaul, the Ramblers rolled right past the Blue Demons, winning the match 3-0, increasing their winning streak to 8 matches. Sophomore Elvan Grinsven tallied 16 kills that night. On Saturday, September 15th, Loyola's winning streak was snapped by UIC. The Ramblers lost with scores of 16-25 and 17-25 during the last 2 sets of the match. Junior Quinn Speaker and Van Grinsven had double-digit kills against the Flames. During the final match of the Chicago Cup Saturday night, the Ramblers trailed close, but lost the match to Northwestern Wildcats. Loyola won the first match 25-19, fell behind the second set 25-12, and kept the adrenaline running during the last set, losing 29-27. Senior Gabby Majikowski led 11 double-digit kills. The Loyola women's volleyball team is now 8-4 in the season and will travel to Evansville, Indiana, September 21st to play the Evansville Purple Aces. Loyola has seen a lot of success under new head coach Amanda Berkeley. RSL reporter Connor Bergen looked into how she is trying to turn the team around, starting with attitude.
After failing to make the soccer team her freshman year at the University of Wisconsin, new Loyola women's head volleyball coach Amanda Berkeley picked up volleyball and ran with it.
Then I tried out for the volleyball team, made it, and played for 4 years, and I was a walk-on and then earned a scholarship for 1 year.
Berkeley attributes her time at Wisconsin for fostering her love for the sport.
Playing at Wisconsin was a great experience for me, and I didn't have a lot of experience playing volleyball before that, just playing in high school, and I just really fell in love with the game.
After college, Berkeley would eventually get into coaching, spending 4 seasons at the University of Southern Mississippi and now landing at Loyola. The perfect location for the Racine, Wisconsin native.
A great university right on the lake, beautiful campus, and then I just feel like being in the heart of Chicago with some great volleyball athletes is just going to only help, and I think we can win while we're here.
When she got the head coaching position back in December, Berkeley said her primary mission was to make the atmosphere of the program more suitable for her players.
I think we just wanted to change the culture to just a more positive environment and just a competitive environment, and I think we've been able to do that.
Senior outside hitter Gabby Majikowski can already feel the change.
We come into practice smiling, we leave smiling, like even if we don't have a good practice, she still makes you feel good about it.
Majikowski said while Berkeley mainly keeps things positive, she has a tougher side to her coaching style that the team can appreciate.
She'll tell you straight up, like, what's up. Like, she's not afraid to call people out, and I think that's what we really needed.
This shift in chemistry and attitude has brought a dramatic improvement in results. Loyola, a squad that went 5-24 last season, has rebounded from an 0-2 start to close non-conference play with an 8-4 record.
They didn't want to have what happened last year again, and so we had to talk about that at the beginning of the season. We didn't do as well as we wanted to the first weekend, and they were able to make the change.
That change came in the form of 2 non-conference tournament championships and a 7-game win streak, the program's longest since 2015. With their early performance, Berkeley's players have made it clear. As the conference season opens at Evansville September 21st, the team does not view this season as a rebuild.
Like, our program's going to win, and it's up to us if we want that to start this year or when, like, we're all gone.
With Berkeley at the helm, the coach has shown that the future and even the present look bright for Loyola volleyball. For the Rambler Sports Locker, I'm Connor Bergen.
Thanks, Connor. On September 16th, Loyola hosted the Invitational in Flossmoor, Illinois for the women's golf team. Loyola sat 3rd overall, but senior Elena Bowser led the individual leaderboard. Bowser turned in the top round of her career, firing a 2-under par 70 that fell just shy of tying with former Rambler Logan Willis. Bowser owned a 2-strike lead over South Dakota's Megan Munich for the top spot in the race of medalist honors. Ultimately, South Dakota won the Invitational, with Loyola tying for 2nd with Drake. Bowser maintained her lead and finished in 1st in the individual competition. On September 20th, Bowser was named Missouri Valley Conference Women's Golfer of the Week for the 2nd week in a row. The women's golf team will be back next week on September 24th and 25th when they travel to Pontiac, Michigan for the Golden Grizzlies Invitational. On September 17th, the men's golf team opened its fall season at the Crusader Collegiate in Chesterton, Indiana. After 3 rounds of competition, Loyola tied for 3rd place, posting a 54-hole team total of 883. Sophomore Devin Johnson had a successful 3 days and finished as runner-up in the individual leaderboard. Johnson had 3 birdies over 2 days of competition and finished with a 4-under par 212. Men's golf is back in action next week, September 24th and 25th, when they head to Madison, Illinois for the Derek Dolenk Invitational.
Starting off another great year, redshirt junior Lindsay Brewis of the women's cross-country team was successful in the season debut at the Illinois State University Invitational on September 14th. Brewis, the reigning Missouri Valley Conference Women's Cross Country Athlete of the Year, won the 5K event with a time of 17 minutes and 26 seconds, gaining over a 30-second lead on the next closest finisher. Sophomore Mimi Reimers placed 9th in the event with a time of 18 minutes and 23 seconds. Both Brewis and Reimers' performances helped the women's team earn a runner-up finish at the Invitational, with 50 points only trailing behind a 20-point effort by Missouri. On September 18th, Brewis was named MVC Female Cross Country Athlete of the Week after her first place finish. The men's side took 5th in the team standings at the Invitational and were led by junior Derek Rink's 12th place finish of 25 minutes and 41 seconds in the 8K race. Next up, the Ramblers will compete in the Loyola Lakefront Invitational September 29th. There's been a lot going on in the world of sports outside of Loyola.
RSL reporter Patty Martinez is here to catch us up on what's trending this week on Twitter.
Thanks, Iona. For this week's trending, I'm taking a closer look at the hashtags surrounding the latest news of NBA shooting guard Dwayne Wade, who on Sunday, September 16th, declared this season with the Miami Heat being his final season before retiring. For many Heat fans, this news came as bittersweet. Wade, a 12-time All-Star, is returning home to put the final touches on his Hall of Fame career. Wade announced this was going to be his final season via Instagram with a video caption #OneLastDance. The video has sparked various reactions from fans all throughout the world who have responded back via social media, attaching #OneLastDance to their posts as well. In addition to being a 12-time All-Star, Wade is an 8-time All-NBA performer and a 3-time NBA champion. He spent the beginning of last season with the Cleveland Cavaliers and revealed during the postseason that retirement was in fact an option for him. However, Wade could not say goodbye just yet. During the 10-minute long video, Wade thanked his fans and spoke from the heart, saying, quoting now, "This is it. I've given this game everything that I have, and I'm happy about that. And I'm going to give it for one last season," end quote. Wade's former teammate and former NBA players also tweeted their support about his retirement. Houston Rockets point guard player Chris Paul tweeted out a video of both Wade and Paul sweating it out through an intense workout with the caption #Brotherhood. Isaiah Thomas, also a former NBA player for the Detroit Pistons, tweeted out a heartfelt message congratulating Wade for all his accomplishments with the #respect and #enjoy this farewell. I'm from Miami and have been a longtime Heat fan, especially during the Big Three era from 2010 to 2014 that consisted of Wade, Chris Bosh, and LeBron James. I'm excited to see Wade home and can't wait to see what he'll accomplish in this final season. It'll be a sad farewell, but until then, Wade County is back. For more on this topic, check out #OneLastDance and #Wade County. That's it for this week's trending. I'm Patricia Martinez. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Patty. The NFL season kicked off 2 weeks ago, and the team's already trading players and changing around their rosters.
Ramble host Connor Bergen and his Ramble analyst discussed whether or not wide receiver Josh Gordon will work out in New England after being traded there by the Cleveland Browns.
Welcome to this week's Ramble. I'm Connor Bergen, here with our Ramble analysts Nick Schultz and Eric Moran. News came out this week that talented but controversial Cleveland Browns wide receiver Josh Gordon will be traded to the New England Patriots. Gordon led the league in receiving yards in 2013, but since then has been largely inactive due to suspensions. So my question for you guys is, will Gordon be a good fit for Belichick, Brady, and the boys in New England? Schultz, you have the floor.
Absolutely. I mean, a player like Josh Gordon, I mean, you look at what he does on the field. I mean, he puts up good numbers, and you've got to remember who you're talking about here. This is Bill Belichick. This is the same guy who can walk into the Corboy Law Center, pull out the nearest janitor and say, "Hey, I want you as wide receiver," and he'd be an all-pro. Like, I'm all for this. I think Josh Gordon's going to work out great.
Eric, your response?
I have the exact opposite response. I think that the Browns gave Gordon, honestly, the most patience they possibly could. Gordon was with the Browns for 6 years, and I feel like going to an organization like New England that we know doesn't really tolerate any kind of, bad behavior. I don't think that's a good fit for him. We saw with Malcolm Butler. Malcolm Butler played 98% of the snaps in the regular season for the Patriots and 100% in the playoffs. And even then, He missed one practice and he wasn't able to play in the Super Bowl. So I don't think Belichick's going to tolerate if Gordon doesn't.
I
go.
feel like
And
that- I feel like
Nick,
that
my
would
question
help.
for you is, though, you said if he finds a janitor, he can make him the All-Pro.
Absolutely.
But what if that janitor can't stay on the field because he's abusing drug policies too much in the league?
Well, I mean, you run a tight ship. I mean, it's Bill Belichick, like I said. You're talking about the Cleveland Browns. I mean, all due respect to Cleveland. Cleveland's a great place. The Browns are not a great place to play football.
Has
Because
Gordon passed his prime yet, though? Because it was 2013 when he had his breakout year.
age-wise, yeah, but I mean, look at his career numbers, though. He's only played 41 games. So, I mean, he's got 16 touchdowns, 180 receptions, and over 3,100 yards. That's not bad, given everything. I think a tight ship like New England will help him straighten out.
And then Eric, I mean, does Nick have a point with the right coach and the right franchise? Can Gordon turn his career around? Does that make a difference?
I think if anything, this would actually probably make it worse, just because you're dealing with the New England Patriots, which right now is a very stressful environment.
But it helps if you win games. If you win games, it's going to help.
If you're coming from the Cleveland Browns, who are 1-31.
I think we're going to have to make a decision here. I think I'm going to go with, because of how well Gordon did play in the first 2 games and because of your janitor comment, Nick Schultz, you win this week's Ramble. And if you want to join in on the discussion, you can jump in on Twitter at #RSLRamble. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Connor. Maybe Josh Gordon will be able to take the New England Patriots to the Super Bowl.
For our full episodes and the chance to get in on the conversation, follow and like our social media handles for an up-to-date look at all things Rambler Sports.
Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Megan Dela Cruz.
And I'm Ioana Kekatos. Check back next week for another episode of the Rambler Sports Locker.
And as always, don't forget to turn off the lights.